I stream on Twitch, by the way. Go check that out sometime. Thanks. We finally made it to Legend 60 in Brawlhalla. Feels like just yesterday we were getting Jaehyun handed to us in all his broken glory. So, who do you guys think it'll be this time? Another Boots legend? Maybe the 6th Cannon legend we've all been waiting for? It's gotta be one of those two. There's no way BMG would. God fucking damn it, dude. They did it. They did it. I don't know how to feel about this. Loki I was really skeptical about at first. Another Scythe legend when we just got moving into 5 legends ago? Really? I get it, people don't really play Cannon and Scythe is an all-time favorite weapon, but it's been 11 legends. It's really tragic. I waited until I fully played a handful amount of Loki and let all my Scythe bias subside. There's a whole lot of points to get on with Loki. You'll learn whether I think he's overpowered and what I think about him as a whole. You already know the drill. On to the signatures. I'm not gonna be one of those people that say he's the most busted legend ever, and I'm not gonna say he's criminally weak, but some of his signatures definitely stand out. Scythe and Sig is kind of like if Taro's Hammer and Sig and Nick's Blaster and Sig had a baby. Yeah, a little strange, but it's pretty accurate. The signature hits in a pretty decent spot and even has a wall version, but it definitely has some of the lowest force out of Loki's signatures. A pretty common trend with most of his Sigs. It's also 1 frame of Neutralite, which can be a bit tricky to hit, but it's nice to have regardless. You can active input on it too, which might prove to be useful in some scenarios like killing on the roof or sending into the corner of a stage. It's worth Scythe Sig, honestly. It really doesn't need any buffs or nerfs. Scythe Sig is one of them that you'll definitely see people spamming around left and right. It has a humongous hitbox, covering pretty much just everywhere around you. I wouldn't be surprised if it caught a ton of various dodges. Although it still doesn't have much force, this one is probably for the better though. Maybe the hitboxing will get a nerf in the future. Scythe Down Sig is a gold player's worst nightmare. Watch where you move as you have exactly 0.15 seconds to realize what signature the enemy Loki is doing. This Sig is arguably his best Scythe signature. You can trick people really well with the unique platform tech it has, and some players don't expect the projectile to go out. The hitbox on Loki himself is absurdly strong too, making it one of his safest Sigs by far. Going on to Katars, we have 3 more wild signatures to look at. Katara N Sig is the one I struggle to use the most for some reason. I feel like if you know how to fight it, it's very easy to avoid. You can stay completely underneath it if you know it's going to be used. On the other hand, the hitbox is pretty wild in certain scenarios. You can use it off stage to hit enemies on stage, and it even covers a pretty good blind spot on Katars. I can see it receiving a hitbox nerf maybe, but definitely not to the force at all. It still has trouble killing. Katar Side Sig is pretty similar to Scythe Side Sig, with just a few minor differences. The Katar Side Sig can actually catch enemies behind you from time to time. There's a check mark for being stronger, but the hitbox is a little less massive, making the signature more punishable than Scythe Side Sig. So still not a bad Sig by any means. It has the most force on the Katar Sigs, but whether we see a nerf to it or not is up for discussion. On to the last Sig, we have Katar Down Sig. Let's cut straight to the chase here. A lot of people were complaining about this one really heavily, about how it goes too far or etc. I would actually call this one Loki's worst signature, as it has the lowest force out of all of his signatures. I'm pretty sure I didn't double check. The hitbox might be far reaching, but it's small and keeps you in the same position for a very long time. I'm talking wildly long. The active input is nice too, letting you set up for another hit, like down sig into Sair or recovery for example, but it's not true at all, making it just a chance thing. The Sig is nice, but it's by no means overpowered. Overall, I would go with the Scythe game. The signatures on his Scythe are all pretty strong, each storing a unique use. Scythe and Sig is still the weakest out of the 3, but it's really fun to use nonetheless. Going on to his skins, he has some really good release skins. We'll quickly discuss them and move on as per usual. S tier has Thinks Researcher Loki. This skin honestly is peak design. It feels like everything about it's done right. It's hands down one of the best skins in the game. Pretty good tier has Outlaw, Default, and Arcane Loki. Outlaw reminds me of the Battle Pass Cross skin, but just way better. Default is a pretty sick design as always, love the default skins on Legends. Then Arcane Loki is my least favorite, but still looks really rad. I honestly can't wait to see what they do for new Loki skins, but I wonder if they'll top Thinks Researcher? Potentially, but for now, THNX Researcher stays at the top. Tier list wise, out of SC, B, C, and D, I'd place Loki at just low S tier. He definitely does need nerfs in some categories, but for the most part, I think he's actually pretty balanced. Hear me out. I was dreading this Legend release, like absolutely dreading it. A super sweaty weapon combo, the Sigs looked absolutely broken. It was not going to be funny considering how much I dislike playing Scythe, and I'm sure a lot of people agree. But the devs managed to make him mostly balanced, for a few reasons. Of course, the signatures have low force, with a Scythe Guitar Legend this makes killing on Loki really tough. Especially with the stat lineup as well. 4 attack, 8 dex, 5 defense, and 5 speed. I've seen people say only attack stance is the best, but you could probably run dexterity for more fluid stringing too. Speed takes out on attack, which I heavily advise against. and defense takes out of speed, which, do you really want to play low speed Scythe and Katars? That's what I thought. Considering how weak Loki's signatures will be after the nerfs, I could see Loki be one of the lower played Scythe legends. People predicted Moonin was going to be the next Mordex, and look what happened with her. I don't think Loki will pass up Mordex for too long. It's kind of just new legend syndrome, let's be honest. But hey, he is really fun. That's coming from someone who really doesn't enjoy Scythe and has lost enjoyment from playing Katars for the most part. Don't worry, I still love playing Nai and Faye. But Loki's signature kit feels fun to use, a bit spammable, and can be annoying if you don't understand them or struggle against sig spam in general. But with enough practice, it really isn't that bad. Trust me, it took like a day or two for me to get the hang of using and fighting them. I guess that strategy of, if you can't beat them, join them, really does work. Because in the process, you're learning how the sig works and how other people fight them as well. So if you're struggling with Loki, fight fire with fire. You might have a bit of fun even. Thanks for watching this legend analysis as always, and I have a pretty big announcement I'll make in a future video. Likely in the next week or two. Until next time, always remember to keep on brawling.